चलें कमेंट्स इधर आएंगे सर
माइक कौन सा?
माइक लैपटॉप वाला
मम्मी अभी भी मुझे नीचे लग रहा है, इसके नीचे बुक्स रख दो। अच्छा नहीं नहीं, ठीक है ठीक है ठीक है ठीक है ठीक है ठीक है ठीक है, सॉरी 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 सॉरी।
कुछ बोले हम बात शुरू कर दें भाषा शुरू कर
Hello everyone. Assalamualaikum everyone. Thank you for joining in today for another exciting session of Ask Me Anything. The program manager will be taking the stage tomorrow. Today it is me, Baber Mushtaq. I am the Startup Growth Manager. And today we are here to talk about the third cohort. The applications for the third cohort are currently open and we are accepting applications on a rolling basis. So happy to answer your questions regarding your application, regarding your ideas, or how you can be a part of the National Incubation Center, Islamabad. Perfect. So just a brief intro for people who have joined us now. NIC Islamabad is Pakistan's premium incubator facility. We are also Pakistan's first accelerator under the umbrella of Ignite, which is powered by the Ministry of IT. So currently, Ignite has 8 incubation facilities across Pakistan, and Islamabad NIC was the first one to be established. In its 7th year of operations, under the new management, we are supported by Hashu Group, along with Fauji Foundation, Telenor Pakistan, Cybervision, and Change Mechanics as their implementation and managing partners. We are also the managing partners for NIC Islamabad, which is agriculture and textile focused incubator. In Islamabad, our focus areas are deep tech and healthcare. Although we are sector agnostic and we are still accepting applications from almost all verticals across, but we have a focus area on healthcare and deep tech startups. So if you have an idea which falls within the ambit of healthcare, which falls within the ambit of deep tech, NIC Islamabad is perhaps the most focused incubator facility in the country right now dealing with these two verticals. And as I said earlier, we're also sector agnostic, so we are accepting applications even from ed tech verticals, from ride sharing verticals, from e-commerce, so on and so forth. In a moment, we will be addressing your questions. I can see a lot of you have joined us on Instagram today. Thank you so much for joining in, guys. And as mentioned earlier, we are here to discuss the third cohort application phase. So we continue to accept applications on a rolling basis. And if you want to apply for the third cohort, the process is very simple. You simply need to log on to www.nicislamabad.com and apply for the third cohort. I'm happy to give you guys a walkthrough of the application process. So understanding the fact that, it's Ramadan and mostly people are occupied with prayers and other religious engagements, we have sort of shortened up the application form. So currently, the application form starts with your full name, your founder's age, your education level, your details for educational institute. We'll be collecting in your social media details, such as your LinkedIn profile, followed by the most generic information, the startup name, the city that you're based out of, and your contact details along with your email. So once you've done that, you come to the next part where you have an opportunity to select the startup vertical. So currently in the drop-down menu, you can see there are three verticals available. First one is your health tech, followed by second one, deep tech. Now, deep tech basically covers all of your ideas that fall under the ambit of artificial intelligence, IoT, Internet of Things, cybersecurity, robotics, and quantum computing. The last one says others, and it also gives you an opportunity to be more precise about the idea or the vertical that you're tapping into. So if you feel that your startup is not a health tech, it's not a deep tech, and it is something else, then please click on others and fill in the necessary information. Following that, you would also see another drop down where you'll have to select the stage of your startup. So NIC Islamabad, before we jump into the stages and the questions for the application, let me just give you guys a brief overview. We accept startups at three different levels. First of all, we accept startups at an idea stage. Let's say you just have an idea, you've done your basic research, you know what sort of product would be a good market fit, the gaps that are existing in the market. So those sort of ideas can also be incubated at the National Incubation Center, Islamabad. Then you have your early stage startups, where let's say you have developed an MVP or you're on the roadmap to develop an MVP. You have done your basic customer identification. You're sort of doing your product validation. You have your basic information sorted out with you, and you have at least some understanding of the market and a lot of details about your consumers, so that you can continue tailoring or refining your product accordingly. So those sort of startups are considered as early stage startups and can also be incubated at the National Incubation Center, Islamabad. The third category addresses startups that are at growth stage. Now, by growth stage, we mean that you have already identified your customer, you have already identified your product, you have done your product validation, you're already generating revenue, and you're looking to scale up things for you. So we are also accepting growth stage startups. So these are the three categories under which you can apply for the National Incubation Center Islamabad's third cohort. Coming back to the application form. So once you get back to the application form, you can see there are three stages as we just discussed. Depending on your idea stage, you just need to click on the relevant stage, and you would again see a questionnaire popping up with some very basic information, such as, let's talk about the idea stage questions first. So with the idea stage questions, the first question would be, what problem are you solving as a startup? Again, we appreciate if you keep your answers short and crisp, covering all the necessary information that is important for us to know. And it should also reflect your understanding of your ecosystem, of the target market or the target industry that you're willing to, tap into. So we need to see that expertise. We are not looking for long answers. We are not looking for, 500 or 1,000 word essay. We are looking for information. As long as you're able to put information in 2 to 3 lines, that is more than enough for us. The next question would be, what is your solution to the problem? So again, we'll talk about the solution, what sort of solution you're developing, what sort of help can we add in. So just in order to understand that, we need this information, and then we would also want to understand your homework, as what sort of homework have you done for your business. The next question would be, what is your estimated total addressable market, which is also known as TAM? So those of you who are in the process of applying for the third cohort, please do some research about the industry, about the vertical that you're planning to tap into. What is the total addressable market? What is your SOM? So all of these things, you have to have your grip on it. So if we change the stage from idea to early, again, most of the questions remain the same. However, with addition to one question, which focuses on how much average revenue do you generate per month. As I said earlier, early stage startups are startups that have a product market fit, where they know their customers, they have done their product ideation, they have done their product and customer validation, and have some basic customer base. So we just need to understand what is your average monthly revenue that you have been able to generate from that product so far. Similarly, if you change the vertical to, I'm sorry, if you change the stage from early to growth stage, you would have another two interesting questions. So the total addressable market question comes back, along with how much average revenue have you generated. So this is perhaps the most critical part of your application, because we do not look at the name, we do not look at the gender, we do not look at the city where you're applying from. For us, for me, as a part of the program team, the most important thing is your knowledge and understanding of the industry that you're tapping into, your understanding of what sort of players exist in the market. You should be able to do a competitor analysis, and you should be aware of your competitors. You should be able to identify your customers. You should be able to identify your target market. So, these are the set of information that we are looking for through the application. And once, we understand all of this part, then we get into other details as to your background, what sort of work experience do you have, what sort of educational experience, academic background do you come from. So all of this comes secondary. The primary and the most important part for us is your information about the startup, your understanding, and how beautifully you're able to communicate that to us through this excellent form that is on our website. For those of you who have just joined us, just to update you guys that this is an Ask Me Anything session focused on the selection of our third cohort. I've got some questions now, and let's take a minute to address them, and then we'll talk about other things in the program. So I have a question from MMM Malaika. Do you shortlist and select pre-revenue startups as well? Yes, Malaika, we do select startups that are pre-revenue. We select startups even if they are at an idea stage. So if you're not generating revenue, if you have an idea, if you know your target market, if you have done your product validation or customer validation, you can still be a part of the NIC cohort. And let's say you haven't done your product validation or the customer validation, you could still be a part of the cohort. I hope that answers that. So is it necessary to have a product-based startup? That startup, can it be a service-based startup? See, at the end of the day, we do encourage services-based startup, but we do not entertain startups that fall within the ambit of NGOs, non-government organizations, or for non-profit organizations. We also do not incubate software houses. So let's say if you're running a software house and you have developed a product, we can incubate your product, but we will not be incubating your software house. So let's say if you're able to, if you're offering services on Web3, so unfortunately you cannot be incubated because Web3 is a huge domain at the end of the day, and if you do not have a particular product that can be scaled, unfortunately NIC is not the thing for you. So we are most focused on product-based ideas and services, which are again, which do not fall under the ambit of NGOs, or they're not even software houses. Even community-based applications or community-based solutions are also sort of covered in the gray area. We would have to evaluate those such ideas. I see. A lot of you are joining in. So could you please give tips on how to present our pitch if our product is at zero revenue, no traction? So if let's say you have an idea, you don't have a product, and you don't have a revenue. So the sort of information that we'd be looking for is, first of all, your understanding of why this idea needs to be there, why this product needs to be there in the market. You need to do your basic homework. You need to know what is your total addressable market. You need to know your SOM, and basically a good homework. In a nutshell, that's how I like to put it. So a good homework covers everything. What is your strategy going to be? How are you going to build a product? What sort of strategy or expansion strategy would you be using? How would you be doing your product validation? What sort of customer validation processes you would be integrating? What sort of timeline do you have in mind to complete your product validation and your customer validation in order to launch an MVP? And what sort of cost is involved? What sort of competition exists in the market? So all of this set of information will reflect your level of interest, your level of understanding of that particular industry vertical, and your eagerness to become a part of the National Incubation Center Islamabad's third cohort. E-blood initiatives, although I'm very much supportive of such ideas and such movements, but unfortunately, since it's a non-profit, so it wouldn't be eligible to become a part of our third cohort. However, I would still recommend you to move forward with your application. Do apply. Because at the end of the day, this is a pressing issue in the Pakistani society, and of course, challenges across on the regional scales are also pretty high. So I would encourage you to please fill up your application and let's see what exactly you have to put out there. So unfortunately, art studios, they're also quite similar to software houses, and we cannot incubate art studios or software houses because at the end of the day, if you're offering services, that sort of becomes difficult to scale at the end of the day. If you have a product-based idea, if you have a product, we'd be more than happy to support you in scaling your future. Wonderful question. So as I said earlier, the reason why we have these three stages in our application form is to understand where you guys are standing and not treat everyone with the same spoon, even when we are incubating you guys, when we are conducting your interviews, when you're pitching in front of us. We need to understand where you're standing, and our procedures are designed accordingly. So once you're incubated at the National Incubation Center Islamabad, after we conduct your need assessment, we devise a growth roadmap for you, and that is going to be different for all the three stages that we discussed earlier. So if you're at an idea stage, our services and offerings are going to be different. If you're at an early stage, our services and offerings are going to be absolutely different. And if you're at growth stage, then it is altogether going to be a different ball game. You would be going through a different set of mentorship and coaching experiences. You would be having different sort of trainings. There are different sort of support that we would be injecting as compared to an idea stage startup. As you guys understand, idea stage, there's a lot of basic homework that needs to be done, such as your financial modeling, your business model, your MVP, your customer validation, your product validation. So these challenges will be addressed not only by the Founder Institute curriculum, but also with the pool of mentors and coaches that we have at hand. So our coaches and mentors, they are aligned as per your needs, your wants, and at this depending on the stage where you're standing. So again, in a nutshell, our offering is not going to be the same for all the startups. Every layer of startup, every category of startup has a different set of services and support that are tailored based on a lot of other things that you will be going through once you become a part of the cohort. Guys, I'll be taking brief breaks in between, as just like all of you, I'm also fasting today. So bear with me for the day. So we do not have a website that will tell you the eligibility. As you know, the eligibility criteria varies from startup to startup, from industry to industry, and again from startup stage to startup stage. So I would suggest you use a B Mangat, please go ahead and apply. I'm very sure if you're here on the platform, if you're hearing us, if you've joined us today, so I'm very confident that your product is going to be eligible to get incubated at the National Incubation Center Islamabad. So it's a three-tier process. Once you fill up your application, there is an initial screening that will be done, and we'll be shortlisting your applications. Those shortlisted candidates will be called in for a one-on-one interview with the program team. Once you qualify this stage, and once you are through to the final stage, that is where you will be required to pitch in front of a pool of judges. They are going to rank you individually, anonymously, and at the same time, only selected participants will get the opportunity to pitch in front of the panel of judges. So the panel of judges is chosen based on the vertical that you are operating into. Let's say if you're operating in the edtech domain, so we'll have judges who come from the educational technology vertical. If you have a healthcare, if you're pitching a healthcare startup, we will have judges from the healthcare vertical. So we sort of create this so that our startups can be judged by people who are a part of the industry already, who are accomplished leaders, who understand the industry better than anybody else. And again, talking about their questions can vary from, it can be as small question as like asking what is your total addressable market. And it could be as difficult as, explaining your business model or explaining your scaling strategies. So again, you need to do your homework very well. Please do a competitor analysis, because something that I personally seen startups fail at is understanding where their competition is. Most of you guys think that there is no competition for the product or services that you're offering, but unfortunately, that's not true. For every product that's out in the market, there are at least 7 to 8 competitors. So please find out your competitors, do your homework on your competitors, and most importantly, if you know your competitors, try to pitch or put forward the idea of why you're different from those competitors. So with all of this information at hand, I think you have everything to nail the judging round. Best of luck. See, we are not accepting applications from a certain chunk or a certain vertical or from a certain walk of life. If you are a student, you can still apply for the program. If you're a working professional, you can still apply for the program. Even if you're a retired individual, you are more than welcome to apply for the program. At the end of the day, we do not believe in your age. We do not believe in your educational background. We do not believe in your ethnicity. So whatever background you're coming from, whatever your age is, as long as you have a scalable idea, we would be more than happy to support you. In regards to building your pitch deck, I would say that we just need the basic information. We just want to see your level of interest and how you understand the information from your target vertical and how you're displaying it. What sort of information, what sort of homework you have done should be reflected in your pitch decks. And again, you do not need to have a fancy pitch deck. It could be simple PowerPoint presentation, or if you want to make it fancy, please be our guest. We'd like to see good pitch decks. At the end of the day, that's sort of adding color to our job. So if you want to build a good pitch deck, use Figma, use online tools, use PowerPoint. If you want to keep it basic, you want to keep it crisp, we also take those things very positively. So at the end of the day, the National Incubation Center is a technology-focused incubator. We focus on startups that fall within the ambit of technology, or at least within the ambit of ICT. So yes, we do encourage e-commerce stores. We do encourage anything that has the scope or potential of being digitalized or digitized. I'm sorry. So if you are, let's say, selling candles or fashion, as long as you have a unique idea and your market is scalable, we would love to look at your application. In our previous cohorts, we have had startups that were not traditional, but they integrated technology in a way that they became tech-enabled startups. So even if you're a tech-enabled startup, you still have a chance. Once again, the website is www.nicislamabad.com. As soon as you log on to the website, you will be welcomed by our welcome page, which already says apply now for the third cohort. So just click on that and fill in the application. I am going to write it down in the chat screen as well so that you guys can take a whole note of it. There you go. That's NICislamabad.com. Okay, so guys, even if you have applied before and you haven't heard from us, probably you should spend some more time on your application, refining your idea, and trying to be more clear and focused in terms of your vocabulary. This will help us in understanding your application and taking the next required steps. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, today we are answering your questions for the third cohort applications. Our applications are live. We are accepting applications on rolling basis. We are receiving hundreds of applications on daily basis. So please apply now before the deadline, because close to the deadline, there are already, since we are accepting applications on rolling basis, so chances are very slim. Just to give you guys an idea on the numbers, for the first cohort, that was last year, May, we had about 1,045 applications. And out of 1,045 applications, only 32 startups were selected. Similarly, for the second cohort, we had about 800 applications. And out of 800 applications, we only incubated 27 startups. So I think getting into NIC Islamabad cohort is quite difficult now as compared to getting into LUMS or NAST or IB or any other top tier universities in Pakistan right now. So that's the reason why we're having these sessions, and we will continue to have these sessions so that we can address your questions, your queries, so that your application can be at the best of its time. The best applications are not the ones that are lengthy, the ones that have the right information, and the ones that are crisp. Those applications are the ones that get our attention, and as long as you're able to explain yourself, we would be our ear. You have all our ears. So, Sharoz, even if you're not based out of Islamabad, Rawalpindi, and you have a groundbreaking idea, you have a disruptive idea, you could still be a part of the National Incubation Center. We accept applications from across Pakistan. So, if you're from Quetta, if you're based out of Peshawar, you're based out of Sialkot, Faisalabad, Multan, Hyderabad, Sakkar, Karachi, Gilgit, Skardu, Mardan, we would be more than happy to have a look at your application. But then again, as I said earlier, Please ensure your application is at its finest. Please do your homework, do your research. You've got days at hand. Don't rush your application. Rushed applications are the ones that get least of our attention. When the application screening process is pretty transparent, and as long as we do not see the right set of information within the application, we do not take those applications forward. So please make sure that you're mentioning all the right things, or you're answering all the questions. And we have made the question form very simple this time, so that more and more people can apply and avail the opportunity. Oh, so we are getting a lot of questions today. Okay. So the number of shortlisted startups, that it depends on the total number of applications and the quality of applications. So there is no number at the end of the day. However, in the third cohort, we will be accepting only 20, somewhere between 28 to 30 startups. The number varies from every cohort to cohort, and that's something that depends on the final judging round, on your interview round, and a lot of other parameters. So I think you should be more focused on getting yourself a position in the final round. Put up your application in a way that we clearly, it lands you in the final judging round, and you should be confident about it. Guys, I am switching switching platforms here, so a lot of questions coming in on Instagram, but let's address some of the questions on Facebook as well. So as soon as you get incubated at the National Incubation Center Islamabad, and once we are done with your initial assessment, where we try to understand where do you stand as a founder, what are the gaps within you as a founder, and then we also dissect your product, your market, understanding where you're standing and how you can scale, also identifying the potential challenges and weak areas. Once we have this report compiled up, accordingly, we devise a growth plan for you, which involves specific trainings, coaching, mentorship. Of course, which the entire thing is being led by the Founder Institute curriculum, which is something that our program manager, has a special interest in, and he's the one who leads the FI program front. So you'll also be studying the Founder Institute curriculum for initial 6 months, while I will be working on other avenues of bridging those gaps within you as a founder, and bridging the gaps as on the product front. So this will involve trainings, this will involve mentorship, this will involve coaching, this will involve exposure trips. We also prepare the startup with one dedicated coach who sort of helps the founder in brainstorming session and pushes the limits for the founder, so that they can come out of their comfort zone and start thinking and start building with those mentors. So you get mentorship, you get focused training and coaching. Let's say if you have an excellent product but you don't know the ABC of marketing, so we'll get a marketing coach who will work with you on the grounds of marketing your product and how to take that forward. Let's say you've got an excellent product, you've got an outstanding marketing team, but at the end of the day, your finances are not coming strong. So we will inject a coach who has an expertise of financial modeling and with the financial management. So they will sit down with you and develop the necessary framework for you to understand, or do a better financial modeling, or understanding where your finances are going. So that's the sort of support which is injected by NIC for all of its startup. And then we also provide an opportunity for the startups for exposure trips. So let's say if your target market is the GCC, and we feel that you're ready to scale in the GCC, and if there is an opportunity coming up, we will try to pair you up for that opportunity. If I talk about the last 1 year, over the last 1 year, we have provided international opportunities to a handful of our startups. A few of them, they went to GITEX. A couple of them, they attended the Leap in Saudi last month. And I was there at Leap myself, supporting those startups, raising investments, doing partnerships, generating leads, and pitching to investors, and talking to other like-minded individuals for generating partnerships, vertical partnerships, horizontal partnerships. So we support them in their journey of growth, and this is also powered by these international trips. I'm just going to take a quick breather while I read your questions. As long as we believe in one-man armies. So even if you are one single individual and you have the power, you have the energy to disrupt an industry, we would love to add ammunition to your warfare. So even if you're a single person army, we'll still be more than happy to incubate you. This is not a criteria, guys. Again, this is not a criteria. So if you are just a single individual with an idea, please go ahead and apply. Do not think that only teams get a chance to get incubated. You can build a team once you get incubated. A lot of our startups, they started off with one single person, and now within 8 to 9 months of their operations, they have expanded from 1 person to 11 person to 15 person team. So the teams can be built at a later stage. As long as you have a good idea, as long as you're passionate about your idea, we would be more than happy to accept your idea. So yes, a couple of big names. Najumi Xperia, someone who is revolutionizing the call center industry. The overall landscape of contact centers is revamped. Similarly, Echo, a platform for micro and nano influencers. Again, EV Square, someone who is converting traditional combustion engines into electric engines. Then we have Medan, which is developing a community for sports lovers, for sports enthusiasts, also providing opportunities for players to connect locally, regionally, and build teams and be more physically active. Our startups are doing a great job. Like for example, one of something that I can quote on this platform very comfortably is that one of our startups that was inducted in the first cohort, that is May 2024 of last year, came to us with an idea, and the last quarter for 2024 posted a revenue of 70,000 US dollars. Once again, सिंपल लफ्जों में आपको बताता हूँ कि 2024 में जब हमने पहले कोहर्ट की इंडक्शन की तो एक स्टार्टअप एक आइडिया लेकर हमारे पास आया। मेरी और स्टार्टअप फाउंडर की गुफ्तगू लाहौर के आईटीसीएन के अंदर हुई थी। मुझे आज भी वो दिन याद है कि जहाँ पर एक छोटी सी गुफ्तगू का नतीजा ये निकला कि उस लड़के ने घर जाकर एप्लीकेशन फिलअप की, और एप्लीकेशन पढ़ने के बाद हमें लगा कि वाकई इस आइडिया को आगे ले जाने की जरूरत है, इसमें स्कोप है, इसमें पोटेंशियल है। हमने उनके ऊपर भरोसा किया और उस स्टार्टअप ने 2024 का जो आखिरी क्वार्टर है, क्वार्टर हम लोग नवंबर, अक्टूबर, नवंबर, दिसंबर की टाइमलाइन को कहते हैं, दैट इज द लास्ट क्वार्टर, जो 2024 का आखिरी क्वार्टर था। उस क्वार्टर में 70,000 रेवेन्यू पोस्ट किया गया। इसी तरीके से एक और स्टार्टअप था जो कि हमारे पास सिर्फ एक आइडिया लेकर आया था 2024 में, और इस वक्त स्टार्टअप की जो टीम है उसमें तकरीबन तकरीबन 25 लोग हैं। सो उस एक स्टार्टअप ने आगे 25 और एम्प्लॉयमेंट अपॉर्चुनिटीज क्रिएट की, 25 और नौकरियां क्रिएट की। बिल्कुल, अगर आपने पहले अप्लाई कर चुके हुए हैं, आप फिर भी अप्लाई कर सकते हैं। Candidates who have applied previously are still eligible to apply for the third cohort. As long as you haven't been selected, you're still eligible. You haven't heard a final no from us, so that gives you an opportunity to So the portfolio of judges, and as I said earlier, the portfolio of judges is something that will be disclosed on the final day. However, something that I can assure you right now is that the judges are from the relevant industries. जो जज हजरात जजिंग कर रहे होते हैं वो उसी इंडस्ट्री के होंगे जिस इंडस्ट्री का आपका स्टार्टअप होगा. हम हरगिज भी ऐसा नहीं करते कि एक हेल्थ केयर के स्टार्टअप को एक एड टेक के एजुकेशनल टेक्नोलॉजी के पैनल ऑफ जजेस के सामने लाकर बिठा दें. एक दफा फिर आप लोगों को क्लियर करता चलूं कि जो हमारा जजेस पैनल होता है वो आपके स्टार्टअप के सेक्टर रिलेटेड ही होता है, ताकि वो लोग एक बेहतर तरीके से आपके स्टार्टअप को जज कर सकें, आपके आइडिया को जज कर सकें, आपको एज एन इंडिविजुअल अच्छी बेहतर स्कोरिंग कर सकें. I'm sorry guys, I'm getting a lot of questions again. So just switching platforms. So if I were to judge a startup, I am going to ask about your idea. I'm going to ask about how you're going to scale up. I'm going to ask about what is your total addressable market, what is your sizable market, uh, what sort of an MVP do you have, what sort of product validation or customer validation you have done. अगर इसको सिंपल लफ्जों में मैं आप लोगों को समझाने की कोशिश करूं तो हम वो सारी चीजें समझना चाहते हैं या देखना चाहते हैं जो कि आपका आपका इंटरेस्ट, आपका लगाव, आपकी नॉलेज, आपकी अंडरस्टैंडिंग को रिफ्लेक्ट करता हुआ हो. फॉर एग्जाम्पल आप आकर अगर मुझे ये कह रहे हो कि जी आपने आईफोन की तरह एक और ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम बना लिया है और वो ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम जो है वो सिर्फ और सिर्फ एक मखसूस फोन के अंदर चलेगा क्योंकि और कोई ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम पाकिस्तान में एग्जिस्ट नहीं करता, इस दुनिया में एग्जिस्ट नहीं करता, तो आप शायद एंड्रॉइड भूल गए हो. तो आप अगर इस तरह की बेवकूफ़ी करोगे तो फिर जाहिर सी बात है ये आपके लिए एक नेगेटिव मार्किंग की सॉर्ट पर एक तरीके पे जाती है. हमें आपने अपना होमवर्क दिखाना है, आपको अपना होमवर्क बहुत अच्छे से करने की जरूरत है. Okay, so Incubation Center, National Incubation Center is a government-funded project. It is powered by the Ministry of IT's governing body, Ignite. हम लोग यहाँ पर स्टार्टअप्स को सपोर्ट करते हैं. जब आप सिलेक्ट हो जाते हो, जब आप हमारे पास इंक्यूबेट हो जाते हो, हम आपकी बेसिक एक वो नीड एनालिसिस हम उसको कहते हैं, रन करते हैं कि जिसमें हम आइडेंटिफाई करते हैं कि आप में क्या वीकनेसेस हैं, एज एन इंडिविजुअल क्या वीकनेसेस हैं, आपके बिजनेस को कहाँ पे सपोर्ट की जरूरत है, किस चीज में बिजनेस आपका लैक कर रहा है. तो इन सारी चीजों को हम समझने के बाद एक प्लेटफॉर्म के ऊपर लाकर आपका ग्रोथ प्लान बनाते हैं, जिसमें फिर हम लोग ये इस तरह की बात समझें कि आप डॉक्टर के पास आ रहे हैं, डॉक्टर आपके टेस्ट वगैरह करने के बाद एक प्रिस्क्रिप्शन तैयार करता है. उस प्रिस्क्रिप्शन के अंदर दवाइयों की डिफरेंट डोजेजेस होती हैं, फिजियोथेरेपी होती है, डाइट की कुछ इंस्ट्रक्शंस होती हैं. तो उसी तरीके से हम आपकी प्रिस्क्रिप्शन तैयार करते हैं. जो दवाइयों वाला काम होता है वो हम फुलफिल करते हैं अपने कोचेस के थ्रू, अपने मेंटोर्स के थ्रू, ट्रेनिंग्स के थ्रू. इसी तरीके से हम कोशिश करते हैं कि आपके उन सारे गैप्स को कवर कर सकें. आपके उन सारे जो आप में एज एन इंडिविजुअल अगर गैप एग्जिस्ट करता है, हो सकता है शायद आप में लीडरशिप स्किल्स की कमी हो, या हो सकता है आप में शायद फाइनेंशियल एनालिटिक्स की कमी हो, या आपकी डेटा अंडरस्टैंडिंग की आप वीक हो. तो इन चीजों को भी हम कवर करते हैं वन ऑन वन ट्रेनिंग्स के थ्रू, इंडिविजुअल ट्रेनिंग्स के थ्रू. तो इंक्यूबेशन सेंटर में आकर आप अपने बिजनेस को 0 से 100 पे ले जा सकते हैं. हम वो एनवायरनमेंट प्रोवाइड करेंगे, हम वो सारी चीजें आपके इर्द गिर्द आपको ला कर देंगे कि जिसके थ्रू आप ग्रो कर सको. एट द एंड ऑफ द डे ग्रो आपने खुद करना है, उस पे हम कुछ नहीं कर सकते. वो सेंस ऑफ अर्जेंसी आप में होनी चाहिए, हम में नहीं होनी चाहिए. और यहाँ पर एनआईसी में काम करते हुए मजा भी हमें उन फाउंडर्स के साथ काम करने में आता है कि जो कि हमारे पीछे पड़े हुए होते हैं या हमारे साथ काम कर रहे होते हैं, बजाय इसके कि जिनके पास हमें जा जाके जिनको बताना पड़ता है कि यार ये एक अपॉर्चुनिटी आपके लिए एग्जिस्ट करती है या आप इसको इस तरीके से कर लो तो शायद आप बेहतर हो जाओ. वी आर लुकिंग फॉर पीपल हु हैव दैट स्पार्क. वो एक ग्रिट एक होती है ना इंसान के अंदर कि नहीं यार मैंने कुछ करना है, या मैंने अपना हर दिन प्रोडक्टिव बनाना है, मैंने अपने हर दिन चीजें बेहतर से बेहतरी की तरफ ले जानी है, इवन इफ यू आर फेसिंग चैलेंजेस, इवन इफ यू आर फेसिंग फेलियर्स. सो हम उस तरह के फाउंडर्स को ढूंढते हैं ताकि इस एनेबलिंग एनवायरनमेंट में आकर वो इन चीजों से फायदा उठा सकें, इन चीजों को समझ के आगे जा सकें. एक बार और मैं क्लियर कर दूं कि इंक्यूबेशन सेंटर में आने के लिए कोई एज नहीं है, कोई जेंडर बेस्ड इंक्यूबेशन नहीं होती। हम फीमेल फाउंडर्स को, फीमेल एंटरप्रेन्योर्स को इंकरेज करते हैं, और हम लोग बिल्कुल कोशिश करते हैं कि हमारे हर कोहॉर्ट के अंदर एटलीस्ट 15 to 20% जो कि रिप्रेजेंटेशन हो वो फीमेल फाउंडर्स की हो। लेकिन इसके अलावा आप किसी भी रंग, नस्ल, उम्र, आपका ताल्लुक हो सकता है, आपका आप पंजाबी हो सकते हैं, बलोची हो सकते हैं, आप सिंधी हो सकते हैं, आपकी उम्र 18 साल से लेकर 60-70 साल तक की हो सकती है, आप जिंदगी के किसी भी वर्टिकल से ताल्लुक रखते हो सकता है आप टीचर हो सकता है आप फिजियोथेरेपिस्ट हो सकता है आप डॉक्टर हो सकता है आप इंजीनियर हो सकता है आप पायलट हो, आपका बैकग्राउंड कुछ भी है, हमें इससे फर्क नहीं पड़ता। आपका ताल्लुक पाकिस्तान के किसी भी शहर से है, हमें इससे फर्क नहीं पड़ता। आपकी तालीम पाकिस्तान में है, पाकिस्तान से बाहर है, हमें हरगिज भी इन चीजों से फर्क नहीं पड़ता। हमें जिन चीजों से फर्क पड़ता है वो है आपका आइडिया, वो है आपकी अंडरस्टैंडिंग उस पर्टिकुलर इंडस्ट्री को लेकर। हमें फर्क पड़ता है आपकी फ्लेम से, आपकी विलिंगनेस टू डू समथिंग से। मेजर रेड फ्लैग वो होता है यार कि जब हम देखते हैं कि एक स्टार्टअप फाउंडर आकर पिच कर रहा है और उसने अपना होमवर्क नहीं किया हुआ, उसको अपने कंपेटिटर्स का नहीं पता, उसने कोई स्ट्रैटेजी नहीं सोची हुई, उसने नहीं सोचा हुआ कि उसकी टोटल मार्केट जो है उसके क्या साइज बन रहा है, या एक सिंपल लफ्जों में मैं कहूंगा होमवर्क नहीं किया हो, तो दैट्स अ रेड फ्लैग। बहुत सारी ऐसी चीजें होती हैं फाइनल जजिंग के दौरान कि जिसको देखकर आपको लगता है कि जी आप हमें स्टार्टअप को फौरन एक्सेप्ट कर लेना चाहिए। लेकिन फाइनल जजिंग राउंड का जो स्कोर है वो आपके जो इंटरव्यू का स्कोर होगा उसके साथ मैच किया जाएगा, एंड देन वी विल डिसाइड इफ यू आर द राइट फिट और नॉट। ये नहीं होता कि अगर हमें एक आइडिया बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है तो हमने फौरन उसको इंक्यूबेट कर लिया, नहीं। हमें देखना पड़ता है कि उससे पीछे वाले राउंड के अंदर उसने क्या कितने नंबर पॉइंट स्कोर किए, एंड देन ये सारी की सारी इंडक्शन मेरिट बेस होती है। सो अगेन जिसके नंबर सबसे ज्यादा हैं वो हमारे स्टार्टअप का, वो हमारी कोहॉर्ट का हिस्सा बन जाते हैं। ओके, एक और बहुत मेजर कंसर्न होता है लोगों का इक्विटी के बारे में। जी, एनआईसी क्या फी चार्ज करता है? एनआईसी इस्लामाबाद किसी भी किस्म की फी नहीं चार्ज करता। ना ही हम लोग किसी भी स्टार्टअप के अंदर इक्विटी डिमांड करते हैं या इक्विटी की हमारी कोई रिक्वायरमेंट होती है। Once again, for people who have just joined us, NIC Islamabad does not charge any fee for any of its program. I just want to highlight this very strictly, that our incubation is only and only based on merit. We do not take any equity in your startup. For the period of 1 year, when you are incubated at the National Incubation Center Islamabad, the entire facility is free of charge for you. एनआईसी इस्लामाबाद की सारी फैसिलिटी आपको फ्री ऑफ चार्ज दी जाती है, इसके लिए हम आपसे 1 रुपया भी नहीं चार्ज करते। इस फैसिलिटी के अंदर जो जो चीजें मौजूद हैं वो हमारे स्टार्टअप्स के लिए हैं। हमारे मीटिंग रूम्स, हमारे बोर्ड रूम, हमारी कोवर्किंग एरिया, हमारे जो लीजर एक्टिविटीज की जगह है कि जहां पर आप टेबल टेनिस खेल सकते हैं, आप स्नूकर खेल सकते हैं, बैडमिंटन खेल सकते हैं, आपने अगर कैफे में बैठ के लंच करना है, ऑल ऑफ दिस फैसिलिटी इज फ्री ऑफ चार्ज। ऑफ कोर्स द यू हैव टू पे फॉर योर फूड, खाने के पैसे आपको देने पड़ेंगे, लेकिन उसके अलावा आपको किसी भी और चीज के पैसे नहीं देने पड़ते। इवन हमारे स्टार्टअप्स जिनको हम एक्सपोजर ट्रिप्स पे लेकर जाते हैं, जो हम उनकी ट्रेनिंग्स करवाते हैं, उन सारी चीजों की कॉस्ट नेशनल इंक्यूबेशन सेंटर इस्लामाबाद खुद उठा रहा होता है। So once again, guys, we are not taking any equity. We are not charging any fee for any of our programs. So it's a very simple and easy process. Once you fill in your application, after initial screening, you will be qualified for the second round. The second round will consist of one-on-one interviews with the program management team, and the third round, if you qualify for the third round, then you will be pitching in front of judges. NIC इस्लामाबाद की एप्लीकेशन भरने के बाद अगर आप शॉर्टलिस्ट होते हैं तो आपको वन ऑन वन इंटरव्यू के लिए कॉल की जाएगी। ये इंटरव्यू इन पर्सन होगा। जो लोग खासतौर पर से पिंडी इस्लामाबाद के मकामी रहायशी हैं उनके लिए ये वन ऑन वन इंटरव्यू होगा। जो लोग पिंडी इस्लामाबाद की हुदूद से बाहर मौजूद हैं वो हमें ऑनलाइन जूम के ऊपर ये इंटरव्यू हमारे साथ करेंगे। अगर आप इस राउंड से क्लियर हो जाते हैं तो फाइनल राउंड में आपकी जो पिचिंग है वो जजेस के सामने होगी। इस राउंड के लिए आप सब लोगों का इस्लामाबाद नेशनल इंक्यूबेशन सेंटर आना बहुत जरूरी होगा। एप्लीकेशन की जो डेडलाइन है दैट इज टिल द 25th ऑफ मार्च। 25 मार्च तक एप्लीकेशन की डेडलाइन है। 25 मार्च के बाद एप्लीकेशन एक्सेप्ट नहीं की जाएगी और इंशाल्लाह फाइनल जजिंग अप्रैल सेकेंड वीक में होगी। The dates will be announced only to the selected participants. सिर्फ और सिर्फ selected participants को judging dates के बारे में मालूमात दी जाएगी। देखिए जी, if you get selected from any other city, we are more than happy to consider you as our virtually incubated startup. Virtually incubated startup वो होते हैं कि जो कि किसी और शहर में रहते हुए NIC के प्रोग्राम का फायदा उठा रहे होते हैं। जो नुकसान होता है उसमें वो सिर्फ ये होता है कि आप हमारे जो फिजिकल इवेंट्स होते हैं जब यहाँ पर डिफरेंट लोग आ रहे होते हैं, नेटवर्किंग इवेंट्स हो रहे होते हैं, पावर ब्रांचेस हो रहे होते हैं, इन्वेस्टर पिचेस हो रही होती हैं, तो उसमें आप उन लोगों से वन ऑन वन इंटरैक्ट नहीं कर सकेंगे, जो कि मेरे नजदीक एक ड्रॉबैक होता है। मैं पर्सनली समझता हूँ कि अगर आप यहाँ सेंटर में मौजूद हैं तो आप ज्यादा बेहतर तरीके से इन चीजों का फायदा उठा सकते हैं। लेकिन इसका हरगिज ये मतलब नहीं कि अगर आप यहाँ पर मौजूद नहीं है तो आप यहाँ पे कोहर्ट का हिस्सा नहीं बन सकते। यू कैन स्टिल बी अ पार्ट ऑफ द कोहर्ट। हमारी ट्रेनिंग्स, हमारी कोचिंग, हमारी मेंटरशिप, FI प्रोग्राम, ये सारी की सारी चीजें आपके लिए भी मौजूद होंगी उसी तरीके से जिस तरीके से कि यहाँ पर एक फिजिकली प्रेजेंट फाउंडर को दी जाती है। सो इग्नाइट का बिल्कुल एक्सेलरेटर भी है। NIC इस्लामाबाद इज पाकिस्तान फर्स्ट एक्सेलरेटर अंडर द अम्ब्रेला ऑफ इग्नाइट। सो इग्नाइट की छत्र छाया में हम लोग पाकिस्तान का पहला एक्सेलरेटर भी है। एक्सेलरेटर में आने के लिए एक शर्त जो कि लाजमी है दैट इज यू हैव टू बी अ ग्रेजुएट ऑफ एनी ऑफ द NIC प्रोग्राम्स। जिस तरह कि आप लोगों में से बहुत सारे लोग जानते होंगे, नेशनल इंक्यूबेशन सेंटर 8 है टोटल पाकिस्तान में इस वक्त। अगर आप एक्सेलरेशन में आना चाहते हैं NIC इस्लामाबाद, आपको किसी भी NIC इस्लामाबाद किसी भी NIC नेटवर्क से ग्रेजुएट होना बहुत जरूरी है। एक दफा फिर रिपीट कर दूं, अगर आपने NIC इस्लामाबाद की एक्सेलरेशन में आना है, उसके लिए मेन कंडीशन है कि आपको NIC का ग्रेजुएट होना बहुत जरूरी है। ये मैटर नहीं करता कि आप सिर्फ NIC इस्लामाबाद के ग्रेजुएट हैं। आप NIC कराची के ग्रेजुएट भी हो सकते हैं, लाहौर के भी हो सकते हैं, फैसलाबाद के हो सकते हैं, क्वेटा के हो सकते हैं, हैदराबाद के हो सकते हैं, पेशावर के हो सकते हैं, रावलपिंडी के हो सकते हैं। एज लॉन्ग एज आप किसी भी नेशनल इंक्यूबेशन सेंटर के ग्रेजुएट हैं, आप एक्सेलरेशन का हिस्सा बन सकते हैं। लेकिन अपने उन दोस्तों को, अपने उन फाउंडर्स को कि जो हमें अभी ज्वाइन कर रहे हैं, थोड़ा सा बताता चलूं कि एक्सेलरेशन बाद की बात है। पहले आती है इंक्यूबेशन। सो आप लोगों ने इंक्यूबेशन में अप्लाई करना है। बिल्कुल जी मलिक साहब, आइडिया स्टेज पर भी आप अप्लाई कर सकते हैं। ऑब्वियसली जी, डिफरेंट NICs हैं पाकिस्तान के अंदर। 8 एग्जिस्ट करते हैं इस वक्त। 8 NICs जो हैं उनका डिफरेंट फ्रेमवर्क है, उनका डिफरेंट करिकुलम है। मकसद हम सारों का एक ही है। हम सारे पाकिस्तान में एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप, टेक्नोलॉजी को प्रमोट करना चाहते हैं, लेकिन तरीक़ेकार फर्क है। हम एक डिफरेंट तरीके से करते हैं। हमारे पास जो करिकुलम पार्टनर्स है उसमें फाउंडर इंस्टीट्यूट आ जाते हैं। फाउंडर इंस्टीट्यूट इस वक्त दुनिया के 200 कंट्रीज के अंदर, 200 सिटीज के अंदर अपने चैप्टर्स के साथ साथ अपने ऑपरेशंस को बढ़ा रहे हैं। और इसी तरीके से डिफरेंट इंक्यूबेशन सेंटर्स जो हैं वो डिफरेंट करिकुलम पार्टनर्स और डिफरेंट मेथोडोलॉजीज के थ्रू काम कर रहे हैं। हमारी मेथोडोलॉजी डिफरेंट है बाकी इंक्यूबेशन फैसिलिटीज से। So we'll take the last 3 questions now, guys. We are almost at the end of the session for today. हम रिसर्चेस को कमर्शलाइज बिल्कुल करने में काफी इंटरेस्ट रखते हैं. सो अगर आप फाइनल ईयर स्टूडेंट हैं और आपका कोई FIP है, या अगर आप कोई PhD कैंडिडेट हैं और आपकी रिसर्च है जिसको आप कमर्शलाइज करवाना चाहते हैं, तो NIC Islamabad has a special corner for researchers and for FIP final year projects. If you're looking to commercialize them, please apply now. हम लोगों ने सक्सेसफुली कुछ रिसर्चर्स को इंक्यूबेट करते हुए उनके आइडिया को कमर्शलाइजेशन की तरफ बहुत तेजी से लेकर जा रहे हैं. सो जी बिल्कुल, अगर आप कोई आपके पास कोई फाइनल ईयर प्रोजेक्ट है जिसको आप कमर्शलाइज करना चाह रहे हैं, आपके पास कोई ऐसी रिसर्च है जिसको आप कमर्शलाइज करना चाह रहे हैं, NIC Islamabad is the place where you need to go. Applications for the third cohort are now open. Please apply on www.nicislamabad.com. The application process is very simple. Total आपके 15 मिनट लगेंगे जिसमें आप एप्लीकेशन फिल कर लेंगे. एप्लीकेशन फिल करने के बाद पहला राउंड होगा इनिशियल स्क्रीनिंग का. इनिशियल स्क्रीनिंग के बाद वन ऑन वन इंटरव्यूज के बाद यू विल बी डायरेक्टेड टू द फाइनल जजिंग राउंड. इफ यू आर सिलेक्टेड, फाइनल जजिंग राउंड इंशाल्लाह ईद के बाद होगा. एप्लीकेशन हम लोग रोलिंग बेसिस के ऊपर एक्सेप्ट कर रहे हैं. सो लेट्स से अगर आप आज अप्लाई करते हैं और आपका आइडिया अच्छा होता है तो हम लेट्स से बाय नेक्स्ट वीक सम टाइम आपका इंटरव्यू हम वन ऑन वन स्केड्यूल कर लेंगे. So once again, the applications are being accepted on rolling basis, and yes, we are more than eager to look at your ideas, look at your solutions, look at your disruptive ideas, I would rather say. देखिए जी, गूगल के ऊपर काफी सारी चीजें मिल जाती हैं. आजकल गूगल पर तो क्या चीज है जिसकी आपको इंफॉर्मेशन नहीं मिलती. तो अपनी पिच टेक बनाते हुए, टैम सॉम निकालते हुए गूगल का इस्तेमाल करें. जो ऑनलाइन टूल्स अवेलेबल हैं इनका इस्तेमाल करें. ये टूल्स बहुत हेल्पफुल होते हैं, और अगर आप टूल्स नहीं इस्तेमाल करते, आप सिर्फ गूगल इस्तेमाल करें, आपको सारी इंफॉर्मेशन मिल जाएगी. ओके, अगर आपके पास लिंक्डइन प्रोफाइल नहीं है तो आप लिंक्डइन पर जाकर प्रोफाइल बना लीजिए प्लीज. ये कोई मुश्किल काम नहीं है, इसके बिल्कुल भी पैसे नहीं लगते, फ्री ऑफ चार्ज है और बहुत मजे की चीज है. आप प्रोफेशनली बहुत ग्रो करते हैं व्हेन यू आर एट लिंक्डइन. आपके पास बहुत सारी अपॉर्चुनिटीज आती हैं. सो आप लिंक्डइन बना लीजिए. उसके ऊपर जो इन्फॉर्मेशन रिक्वायर्ड है वो जरूर फिलअप कीजिए. हम जरूर जानना चाहेंगे कि आपका क्या बैकग्राउंड है, आपका क्या वर्क एक्सपीरियंस है. लिंक्डइन के ऊपर लोग आते ही इसी वजह से हैं कि वो आकर आपको प्रोफेशनली जान सकें, समझ सकें. प्रोफेशनल प्रोफाइल होती है लिंक्डइन के ऊपर. फेसबुक इंस्टाग्राम के ऊपर एक पर्सनल प्रोफाइल होती है. सो हम इंटरेस्टेड है आपकी प्रोफेशनल प्रोफाइल के अंदर, जिस वजह से हमें आपका लिंक्डइन का URL चाहिए होता है. So, Anji, with this we have finally come to the end of today's session. आगे आने वाले दिनों में हम इस तरह के मजीद सेशन करेंगे. एक दफा फिर आप लोगों को बताता चलूं कि NIC इस्लामाबाद की एप्लीकेशंस इस वक्त खुली हुई हैं थर्ड कोहर्ट के लिए. अगर आप लोगों के पास कोई बहुत अच्छा आइडिया है, कोई बहुत यूनिक आइडिया सोल्यूशन है, प्लीज अभी अप्लाई कीजिए NICislamabad.com पर जाकर. एप्लीकेशंस की डेडलाइन 25 मार्च है. फिर से आप लोगों को बताता चलूं, एप्लीकेशन डेडलाइन इज द 25th of March. हम लोग एप्लीकेशंस रोलिंग बेसिस के ऊपर एक्सेप्ट कर रहे हैं. वी आर एक्सेप्टिंग एप्लीकेशंस ऑन अ रोलिंग बेसिस. अप्लाई नाउ so that we can make you a part of the cohort as soon as possible. Stay tuned for this space for more information. We will be coming back live tomorrow. Looking forward to addressing your questions, talking more about how you can be a part of the National Incubation Center programs, answering your questions, and helping you in finding a disruptive solution for the industry you're targeting. Thank you so much for your time. Baber Mushtaq, Startup Growth Manager, signing off.